Welcome to a journey through Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, a book that has touched millions with its profound insights into the human spirit. This classic work is not just a memoir of survival in the Holocaust, but a guide to finding purpose even in the darkest times. Frankl, a Viennese psychiatrist, witnessed unimaginable suffering in concentration camps, yet discovered that meaning can be found in every moment of life. Today, we'll explore the lessons, stories, and enduring wisdom that have made this book a beacon of hope for generations. Viktor Frankl was more than a survivor. He was a pioneering psychiatrist and the founder of logotherapy, known as the Third Viennese School of Psychotherapy. Before the war, he was already respected in his field, but his experiences in Auschwitz and other camps shaped his most influential ideas. Frankl's life was marked by resilience, academic achievement, and a relentless search for meaning. He wrote over 30 books, taught at universities worldwide, and inspired countless people to look beyond suffering and discover purpose. Man's Search for Meaning has received acclaim from psychologists, authors, and readers worldwide. It's been called one of the most important contributions to psychotherapy since Freud and Adler. Reviewers highlight its eloquence, honesty, and the transformative power of Frankl's message. Many describe it as life-changing, a book that challenges us to value our humanity and find hope even in despair. Its impact is evident in the millions of copies sold and the enduring relevance of its lessons. At its core, Frankl's book is about survival, not just physical endurance, but the survival of hope, dignity, and meaning. He recounts how in the camps those who comforted others and shared their last piece of bread often survived the longest. Frankl observed that even when everything is taken from us, we retain the freedom to choose our attitude. This inner decision, he argues, is more powerful than any external circumstance. The book invites us to reflect on our own capacity for resilience. Frankl believed that the deepest human desire is to find meaning and purpose. Unlike Freud, who saw pleasure as the main drive, or Adler, who focused on power, Frankl argued that meaning is what sustains us. In the camps, he saw that those who lost hope for the future often perished, while those who found a reason to live, no matter how small, could endure almost anything. This insight forms the foundation of logotherapy, his unique approach to psychotherapy. Frankl identified 3 main sources of meaning: work, love, and courage in difficult times. Work gives us a sense of accomplishment, love connects us to others, and courage allows us to face suffering with dignity. Even in the most desperate situations, these sources can help us find purpose. Frankl's own hope was kept alive by thoughts of his wife and the dream of teaching others about the lessons of Auschwitz. His story reminds us that meaning can be found in every aspect of life. One of Frankl's most enduring insights is that, no matter the circumstances, we always have the freedom to choose our response. External forces can strip away our possessions, status, and even our loved ones, but they cannot take away our inner freedom. This idea is illustrated by a story from Arthur Miller's play, where a man loses everything but still retains the power to choose his attitude. Frankl's message is clear: our response to suffering defines us. Frankl's insights are echoed in everyday life. Many people after retirement or loss struggle to find meaning. Some rise to the challenge, enduring hardship because they believe there is a point to their suffering, whether it's living for a family milestone or contributing to medical research. The presence of a why enables them to bear almost any how. Frankl's ideas resonate with anyone facing adversity, reminding us that meaning is not just for extraordinary circumstances. Logotherapy, Frankl's therapeutic approach, focuses on helping people find meaning in their lives. Unlike other forms of psychotherapy, it doesn't dwell on past traumas or unconscious drives, but instead asks, what is your purpose? What gives your life significance? Frankl believed that even in the face of suffering, we can choose to find meaning. This approach has helped countless individuals overcome despair and discover new reasons to live. Frankl never intended for his book to become a bestseller. He wrote it in just 9 days, originally planning to publish it anonymously. The overwhelming response to the book, he believed, reflected the deep existential questions of his time. People everywhere were searching for meaning, especially in the aftermath of war and loss. The book's success was, for Frankl, a sign of the world's hunger for hope and purpose. Frankl faced a profound personal dilemma. Should he escape Austria with his American visa or stay to support his aging parents? A piece of marble from a destroyed synagogue, inscribed with the commandment to honor one's parents, guided his decision. He chose responsibility over personal ambition, a choice that would shape his destiny. This story highlights the importance of values and conscience in finding meaning, even when the path is difficult. Frankl's account is not just a record of horrors, but a study of the everyday psychological struggles of ordinary prisoners. He describes the fight for survival, the loss of identity, and the small acts of kindness that made a difference. The camps stripped people of their names, reducing them to numbers, but some managed to retain their humanity through inner strength and compassion. Frankl's observations offer a window into the resilience of the human spirit. First phase of camp life was characterized by shock. New arrivals packed into overcrowded trains faced the terrifying reality of Auschwitz. The selection process, where a simple gesture determined life or death, was both surreal and horrifying. Many clung to hope, unable to grasp the full extent of their situation. Frankl describes the psychological mechanisms, like the delusion of reprieve, that help prisoners cope with the initial trauma. Upon entering the camp, prisoners lost everything: possessions, clothes, even their hair. They became numbers, stripped of individuality and dignity. Frankl recounts the moment he realized his life's work, a precious manuscript, would be lost. This forced him to let go of his past and focus on survival. The process was dehumanizing, yet it also marked the beginning of a search for meaning beyond material things. Prisoners quickly learned to adapt to extreme conditions, crowded sleeping quarters, lack of food, and constant cold. Frankl describes how people discovered they could endure far more than they ever imagined. Even the smallest comforts, like a piece of bread or a moment of warmth, became precious. This adaptation was both a testament to human resilience and a reminder of the harsh realities of camp life. Despair was common in the camps, and many prisoners contemplated suicide. The most frequent method was to touch the electrified barbed wire. Frankl made a personal vow not to give in to this temptation, recognizing that life, however uncertain, still held meaning. He observed that those who lost the will to live often did not survive, while those who found purpose, however small, could endure unimaginable suffering. After the initial shock, prisoners entered a phase of apathy, a kind of emotional numbness that protected them from constant pain and fear. This blunting of feelings was necessary for survival, but it also led to a loss of empathy and a focus on self-preservation. Frankl describes how even the most horrific scenes became routine, and how the struggle to maintain dignity and compassion became a daily challenge. Survival in the camps often meant making difficult moral choices. Prisoners were forced to compete for food, shelter, and even life itself. Frankl notes that those who survived were often those who had lost all scruples, willing to do whatever it took to stay alive. Yet he also honors those who managed to remain unselfish, giving away their last piece of bread or comforting others, proving that inner strength could transcend outward fate. Camp life reduced people to mere numbers, erasing their identities and histories. Frankl describes how the constant struggle for survival led many to lose their sense of self, becoming part of a faceless mass. Yet he insists that even in such conditions, it was possible to retain a sense of individuality and dignity through conscious choices and inner resolve. In the midst of deprivation, prisoners often escaped into dreams of food, warmth, and home. These dreams provided temporary relief from suffering, but also highlighted the stark contrast with reality. Frankl observed that the mind's ability to retreat into imagination was both a coping mechanism and a sign of the human spirit's resilience. Even in the bleakest circumstances, humor became a vital tool for survival. Frankl and his friends would invent amusing stories or jokes about life after liberation, finding brief moments of laughter amidst the misery. Humor, he writes, offered a sense of aloofness and helped prisoners rise above their situation, if only for a few seconds at a time. Despite the horrors, prisoners could still find beauty in art, nature, and small acts of kindness. Frankl describes moments when a sunset, a song, or even a memory could lift the spirit and provide a sense of meaning. These experiences, though fleeting, reminded prisoners of the world beyond the camp and the possibility of joy. Frankl's love for his wife became a source of strength and hope. Even without knowing if she was alive, the thought of her sustained him through the darkest moments. He realized that love is the highest goal to which we can aspire, and that it can provide meaning even in the absence of physical presence. This insight is one of the most moving aspects of his story. In the camps, many prisoners turned to religion and spirituality for comfort. Improvised prayers, secret gatherings, and moments of reflection helped some maintain their inner strength. Frankl observed that those with a rich inner life often fared better than those who relied solely on physical strength. Spiritual freedom, he believed, could not be taken away. Frankl's central message is that suffering, while inevitable, can be given meaning by the way we respond to it. He argues that even in the most barren circumstances, we can choose our attitude and find purpose. This perspective transforms suffering from something to be avoided into an opportunity for growth and self-transcendence. Throughout his ordeal, Frankl witnessed acts of kindness that stood out against the backdrop of cruelty. Some prisoners gave away their last piece of bread, comforted others, or risked their lives to help a friend. These moments, though rare, proved that the human spirit could rise above even the most dehumanizing conditions. Every day in the camp presented choices, whether to give in to despair or to hold on to hope, to act selfishly or to help others. Frankl emphasizes that these choices, however small, defined the kind of person each prisoner became. Our inner decisions, he argues, are more important than external circumstances in shaping our destiny. Maintaining dignity in the face of humiliation was a daily struggle. Frankl describes how some prisoners managed to preserve their self-respect, refusing to let the camp strip them of their humanity. He quotes Dostoevsky, "There is only one thing that I dread, not to be worthy of my sufferings." For Frankl, dignity was an achievement, not a given. Frankl's insights are not limited to extreme situations. He observed that people everywhere struggle to find meaning, after retirement, during illness, or in the face of loss. The search for purpose is universal, and the lessons of the camps apply to all of us. By finding meaning in work, love, or courage, we can transcend suffering and live more fully. Frankl argues that suffering is an inescapable part of life, but it can be transformed into achievement if we face it with courage and dignity. He tells the story of a young woman in the camp who, facing death, found comfort in a tree outside her window. She saw in it a symbol of eternal life, reminding us that meaning can be found even in the smallest things. Memories of loved ones, past joys, and even ordinary moments became sources of strength for prisoners. Frankl describes how recalling a bus ride or a simple meal could bring comfort and a sense of connection to life outside the camp. Memory, he suggests, is a powerful tool for preserving identity and hope. Despite the deprivation, prisoners found ways to create and enjoy art, songs, poems, and even cabaret performances. These moments of creativity provided relief from suffering and helped maintain a sense of humanity. Frankl notes that the contrast between art and the camp's horrors made these experiences even more poignant. Happiness in the camps was relative, defined not by pleasure but by freedom from suffering. Small messes, like a fair portion of soup or a moment of rest, became sources of joy. Frankl reminds us that the size of human suffering is relative and that even the smallest pleasures can bring immense relief. Camp life constantly threatened to erode self-respect and individuality. Frankl describes how some prisoners managed to hold on to their sense of self, while others became part of the anonymous mass. The struggle to maintain personal values and dignity was ongoing, and often required conscious effort and inner strength. Many prisoners felt powerless, believing that fate controlled their lives. Decisions about escape or survival were often left to chance, as the fear of making the wrong choice was overwhelming. Frankl tells the story of narrowly escaping death by trusting fate, illustrating the tension between agency and surrender in extreme situations. As the war ended, the camps were liberated, but freedom brought its own challenges. Frankl describes the confusion, relief, and lingering trauma experienced by survivors. The transition from captivity to freedom was not easy, but it marked the beginning of a new search for meaning in a changed world. Survivors faced difficulties adjusting to normal life after the camps. Many struggled with depression, loss, and the challenge of finding meaning in a world that had changed forever. Frankl's reflections on this period highlight the ongoing nature of the search for purpose, even after liberation. Frankl's story is ultimately one of endurance. Despite unimaginable suffering, he and others managed to preserve their inner freedom and humanity. The book stands as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of meaning to sustain us through even the darkest times. Lessons of man's search for meaning are as relevant today as ever. In a world filled with uncertainty, loss, and change, Frankl's message offers hope and guidance. By choosing our attitude, finding purpose in work, love, and courage, and embracing our freedom to choose, we can navigate life's challenges with dignity and strength. Frankl's legacy lives on through logotherapy, which continues to help people around the world find meaning in their lives. Institutes dedicated to his teachings can be found on every continent, and his work has influenced countless therapists, counselors, and individuals seeking purpose. The enduring appeal of his ideas speaks to their universal relevance. Frankl's final message is one of hope and responsibility. He urges us not to pursue success or happiness directly, but to dedicate ourselves to causes greater than ourselves. Success and happiness, he argues, are byproducts of living with purpose and integrity. By listening to our conscience and acting with courage, we can let happiness and success ensue naturally. Man's search for meaning speaks to people of all backgrounds, faiths, and experiences. Its message transcends time and place, reminding us that meaning is available to everyone, no matter the circumstances. Frankl's story encourages us to look within, find our own purpose, and live with courage and compassion. The book is often described as a tribute to hope, a testament to the human capacity to endure, to find light in darkness, and to create meaning from suffering. Frankl's journey inspires us to believe in the possibility of transformation, even when all seems lost. Hope, he teaches, is not just a feeling, but a choice we make every day. As we reflect on Frankl's story, we are reminded of our own capacity for resilience and meaning. Whether facing personal struggles or global challenges, the lessons of man's search for meaning encourage us to choose our attitude, support one another, and seek purpose in every moment. The journey does not end with the book, it continues in each of us. In the end, Frankl's work is a guide to the art of living. It teaches us that meaning can be found in suffering, that freedom lies in our response, and that love and purpose are the highest goals. As we move forward, may we carry these lessons with us, finding significance in our own lives and helping others do the same. Thank you for joining this exploration of Viktor Frankl's timeless masterpiece.